Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to DKFC. That's right, DraftKings football. We are talking to Euros 2016. I'm Wade McElwain, the DK Sports Ambassador. Joining me, DK writer Jamie Hinks, Tyrone Atkins, and Andy Davies. We're down to 8 teams left in the Euros. But before we get into all the games, let's address the England in the room, shall we? Gentlemen, some thoughts on England performance. Little stone face. Start with you, Andy. You got the big smile. You were silent during that whole game when we watched it. You didn't say
I was focused.
I know.
Focused on the horror. It wasn't very good, was it?
No, it was really embarrassing.
It was poor. I mean, that is probably our worst performance in a major tournament ever, I think.
It was.
But it's just a steady decline. The thing that annoys me is that all the press and everyone's talking about the problems that are inherent with the England team. And it's the same conversations that we have every 2 years. But we just seem to get worse and worse and worse, and we don't address the problems. And I don't really understand what people were expecting. This is how we pan out in major tournaments. We go out at the first hurdle. So it was horrible. It was rubbish to watch. But deep down, was anyone really surprised?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jamie? Is it
massively surprising to lose to Iceland? I'm not being disrespectful to them, but like that's incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah. What do you think it is? Do you think it's the manager? Do you think it's a team? Or is it a combination? Like
he didn't know how to set the team up. But he didn't take. I don't think he took the right players. Lallana got injured, and there's no one else to replace him. Even though you've got 5. I know we took 5 strikers, but you've got to take 5 strikers that have a bit of versatility. Then none of them could do anything apart from play through the middle. And Rooney was played out of position in midfield. Didn't bring Rashford on until 5 minutes before the end. He did more in 5 minutes than any of the rest of them did in the whole game. We got found out for our massive shortcomings at the back. Like we weren't tested in the first 3 games. We were tested for the first 10 minutes against Wales, and they looked like they were absolutely shitting themselves in those first 10 minutes against Wales. And in this game, we have been tested by a long throw twice. And the goals have come from a long throw, which we should be able to deal with that because the Premier League had Rory Delap for 5 years. And I was talking to my brother about this, and he was like, they would have definitely worked on this in training, so why have we been beaten by a long throw?
He even said that they'd worked.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like we have a terrible defence, a terrible goalkeeper, and we let in 2 goals against a team that don't score many goals.
well, because Joe Hart, I mean, against that, the first one that he flubbed, why would you bring him back in after that?
I just think he's so pumped up before every game, and it's detrimental. How can you be like going absolutely mental in the tunnel, absolutely mental during the national anthem, and then like rein it in and be composed as a goalkeeper? It doesn't work like that. Fair enough if you're a striker. Like you've got like Gerrard, like last season, Gerrard, for example, came on against Man United. He was too pumped up and got sent off after 30 seconds.
What do you think, Ty? Where's the fault lie?
The manager, obviously, the personnel, but I would say the mentality. It's just the mentality. I don't know what it is. I think it was Steven Gerrard today. I read an article he wrote, basically saying, they just looked defeated like from the get-go. In the second half, we came back from the half-time break. It was clear that nothing had emerged. We still weren't using flanks. It was just a bunch of guys that can only play through the middle. They were just clueless, and that was it. It was like within, I think, the 60th minute, I turned to you, and I was like, well, this is done, because this is classic England now. We were talking on the way here. I actually missed the brave defeats that England used to have. Do you remember those? I'll be on penalties or some kind of robbery. But now, it's just listless. It's terrible. I thought the defeat in 2010 World Cup against Germany, I thought that was one of the worst I've ever seen. But that was a real strong, emerging, young German team that went on to win the World Cup 4 years later. This was Iceland. This was a disgrace. And I don't think anyone could put it better than Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer said it 10 days ago. He said he doesn't believe that Roy Hodgson knew his best team or his best formation or what the tactics required to win this tournament. And he was absolutely proved right. We had a week to prepare for that match. We had just under a week to prepare for Iceland. They identified the long throw, which is Bush League tactics at the best of times. And we've got these amazing, very, very well-paid professional young men that could not handle it, and they did. The word you used, they shit themselves. It was a disgrace. It was poor. It was embarrassing. I mean, that Roy Hodgson getting caught on the big camera and then putting that... I mean, that was hilarious because it was true. It was absolutely true. It's exactly what he did. It was like, oh my God, the focus is on me, rather than just absolutely zoning in the absolute horror on the battlefield in front of him. He couldn't do it. I'm disappointed in Roy Hodgson. I really am. He's had 4 years, and that's all he could do. He made some very brave selections. He did give debuts to some great young emerging talent. Rashford wasn't a risk in the end. I thought that was a very good inclusion in the squad. Shame we didn't play him more. Really was. But yeah, I think a lot of those players, they have to look at themselves and think, crikey, what was that about?
I think we as supporters and media as well need to take a look at ourselves as well, and we need to stop destroying the footballers when they do anything wrong. Yeah. A case in point was Raheem Sterling, who identified the fact that he was suffering confidence issues, went and saw a psychiatrist, and then got millions of abuse on Twitter for doing that. It's like, well, why don't you just say, well done, mate, for identifying that you got a problem and doing something about it. We as fans, I mean, it's such a big game in this country. It's so high profile, but we've just got to take a step back and look at how other countries are supported and how other teams are supported and the connection that there is between the players and the fans. Dele Alli, for example, right? He got a 3-match suspension for punching Jakob at the end of last season. Now, Spurs fans, we didn't abuse him on Twitter. We didn't take him down. If he'd done that for England and got a ban, there'd be a burning effigy of him on the old Ford roundabout.
Every fan other than Tottenham, though.
Yeah, but we have to. Why can't we treat our national team with the same attitude that we treat our club sides? Why can't we do that?
It's a different type of fan, though. It's a fan like, for example, I was saying the other day, realistically, I don't think Palace are ever going to win a massive trophy, but England gives fans of other teams that support lower teams the chance to actually dream, we can actually win something. For your club team, you don't get that, and you're not every time England play,
we don't give that to our fans shouldn't be believing we can win stuff. We haven't won anything since 1966.
They do, yeah, but the FA come out with these stupid comments, like, for example...
So the FA need to stop doing that, the media need to stop building them up as well, and the fans also need to be a little bit realistic about the team and go, you know what, we've been absolutely dog shit for 20 years, let's perhaps temper our expectations. It was lovely, Roy Hodgson's first tournament, that was lovely because the fans had no expectations of the side, and you felt just for once that England were being supported in a decent way by the supporters. The minute that tournament's over, the mentality just goes back to normal, which is we are England, we should be world beaters, we are the greatest team in the world. We don't have any professional players in this country, we have no professional players playing abroad. The outlook is so insular that we're never going to win anything unless we as fans, media and FA alike change the collective attitude, or it will never change.
It's fairly hard. Sorry, Joe. It's fairly hard though when we absolutely bomb through qualifying.
That's what I was going to say.
We bomb through qualifying and we find a system. And Welbeck's injury should not have destabilised the whole ship, but it appears that's the case. Because he was the one guy who played in a forward position on the right that you could depend on is going to carry out his duty and provide and...
But yeah, we're judging it on qualification games. We were unbeaten in qualifying I'm pretty sure we're unbeaten in qualifying for the last World Cup. Unbeaten in qualifying for this tournament. We beat Germany, France. These are favourites for the tournament. They're not playing second-rate teams against us. They're playing their first team. We're beating them. That's why fans' expectation will go up. It would be like saying, oh yeah, Spurs, they're winning every single league game, but they lose every single one in the Champions League. You'd expect them to win a game. You wouldn't expect them to play this badly.
We always win, but we should always expect that we're going to play badly in tournaments because when it gets to the knockout stages, you can see the players are exhausted and the players are terrified. They're absolutely terrified because they know if they do one thing wrong, there's going to be an absolute Twitter storm and there's going to be effigies being burned. They are absolutely terrified.
I think they've got to be professional in that.
They have to learn to ignore it, but it's a new thing that we have to help them ignure it. Roy Hodgson touched on the fact
they get paid over £100,000 a week. They don't need help to ignore it.
Of course you need help.
They get the job. I mean, they get media.
You can say they get £100,000 a week. That's like John Gregory saying that Stan Collymore shouldn't be depressed because he earned £20,000 a week. You're allowed to feel pressure. You're allowed to need to cope with pressure. But if we're just piling it on and going, you should be able to deal with this, let's not expect a different result.
Maybe shit,
Because
surely it's freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want.
you can say whatever you want, yeah, but let's at least try and help the players
I'm
deal
going to
with.
disagree only as much as because I'm not going to take any responsibility for how shit we were the other night.
We're awful.
And neither should you, and neither should any fans. I mean, there's an aftermath, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's an inquiry, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of bollockings. And I would say at this point of grieving, it's deserved. But I'm not going to take any responsibility for the slack they get. They were awful.
There's a sobering second thought that comes out of it. Nothing that we're going to answer in today, but it's something for future discussions and to look at why was England so bad, why did they play so bad, and what can be done for next time.
I just hope that we can fix up and win something in my lifetime. That's it. Or at least compete, at least get further.
I just think that the unrealistic expectations of the FA, I've read this today, they've literally got a clock counting down to the 2022 World Cup because they think they can win it.